I'm John Cranton with JimFeist.com. I'm going to take a look at the 2015 AFC East. Now, the AFC East certainly looks a lot more even than it did a year ago in 2015. You got the defending champion Patriots taking a step down in the secondary, plus quarterback Tom Brady's likely suspension. Meanwhile, the Jets and the Bills and the Dolphins, they look even better. Though Vegas is still saying the Patriots are minus 300 to win this division. We're going to start with them. The over-under in Las Vegas for the Pats will be 10.5 wins. This New England team has been to 4 straight AFC title games, 2 Super Bowl appearances, claimed the crown last year with that 28-24 thriller without deflated footballs. Now, that Patriots team outscored opponents by 155 points. That was tops in the NFL, just ahead of Seattle, actually. Patriots were 7-1 at home, 5-3 on the road. The defense lost its top personnel in the secondary, and they do have more youth on defense this year. Pats are also on a 10-5 spread run. Now, the offense is going to be fine, although second-year quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo may see some time early in the season. Tom Brady has to sit. In fact, that first game against Pittsburgh, they opened 6. Patriots did against the Steelers, and then when the Brady suspension was announced, it went down to pick 'em. But very quickly, it went back up to -2 on the Patriots, and that was with Garoppolo expected to start. Well, Brady, he's going to see time at some point. He's going to be 38 years old in August, off a season with 33 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, over 4,000 yards passing. He has terrific options in the passing game with wide receiver Julian Edelman back. Tight end Rob Gronkowski had over 1,100 yards. Brandon LaFell, the newcomer last year, had 953 yards, and even slot wide receiver Danny Amendola was very productive. Now, he only had 200 total yards during the regular season, but he was coming off-season surgery, and it took him about a year to get over the injury. The last month of the season, the coaching staff was saying, boy, he's finally healthy, very productive down the stretch, and then very productive in the playoffs. So this Patriot passing game should be exceptional. Now, the offense is normally balanced. Last year, they were 9th in the NFL in passing, 18th in rushing. They run a spread attack that creates gaps in the defense. Ground game did take a small step back because of offensive line problems they had early on in September, plus the injury to top back Stephen Ridley, who was left. The ground game is going to be fine with running back Jonas Gray and LeGarrette Blount, but still it's a pass-first attack. Now, the Patriots were first in the NFL in scoring with 29.2 points per game, 4th in scoring, that is. Then they went wild in the playoffs, scoring 35, 45, and 28 points. They're also on a 19-11-1 run over the total. Now, the Patriots defense was good, but not dominant. 17th against the pass, 9th against the run. They should be fine up front against the run with rookie nose tackle Malcolm Brown stepping in. He's a first-round pick from Texas. They got a slew of talented athletic linebackers, Dante Hightower, Gerard Mayo, Chandler Jones, and Jamie Collins. But the Patriots secondary lost its top 2 starting cornerbacks, Darrelle Revis leaving, and they really didn't address it in the offseason, too. Super Bowl hero Malcolm Butler, a rookie last year, probably going to get a shot to start at cornerback, but again, that's a big question mark. Speedy safety Devin McCourty is back playing center field, and he is fine, but overall the secondary takes a step back. So can the Patriots top 10.5 Vegas wins again? Well, they probably can, because it's the easiest schedule that a defending Super Bowl champion has had to play. Now, they do have some road trips at Dallas, Denver, and Indy. Those are the biggest challenges. There are a lot of teams with weak quarterbacks they'll be facing: the Jaguars, Bills, and Jets, and Redskins, Texans, and even the Titans. Again, the Patriots on that 19-11-1 run over the total. Miami Dolphins are projected by Las Vegas at 8 wins. Now, Vegas had them a year ago at 7.5 wins. They went 8-8 straight up, 7-9 against the spread. The bad news is they ended last year in a bad rut, 2-4 straight up, 1-4 against the spread. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill was pretty good with 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on an offense that ranks 17th in the NFL in passing, 12th in rushing. He was sacked 46 times. That was actually a big improvement from 2 years ago when he was sacked 58 times to lead the league. They do like the 27-year-old. They gave him a 6-year, $96 million contract extension. Last year, Miami was 11th in the NFL in scoring, 24.2 points per game. Now, there are changes at wide receiver. They're going with the youth movement. They basically cutted some bloated salaries, and they're going to go with rookie wide receiver Devontae Parker from Louisville, 14th overall pick, Kenny Stills. Plus, they swapped Mike Wallace for a veteran wide receiver Greg Jennings. Now they add 27-year-old tight end Jordan Cameron. He had 424 yards with the Browns last year, but 2 years ago he was great with 917 yards. The offensive line was almost all new last year. Much of the same personnel is back, and it's pretty good personnel suited for the zone blocking schemes that they like to run. All of that has helped running back Lamar Miller. He had just over 1,000 yards rushing last year, 5.1 yards per carry. Now, the defense of Miami slipped badly against the run, 121 yards rushing per game. That was 24th in the NFL. So Miami rolled up the Brinks truck for Wildman and Ndamukong Suh. Boy, you team him up front with defensive end Cameron Wake. He had 11.5 sacks. Olivia Vernon, last 2 years, he's had 6.5 and 11.5 sacks. They should be much improved against the run. The secondary was 6th against the pass, but they do lose cornerback Cortland Finnegan and Jimmy Wilson. You got Brett Grimes and Jamar Taylor. They're going to be fighting it out at cornerback. Louis Delmas returns at free safety. 13 games last year, only 1 pick. Schedule for Miami, boy, they're going to play 6 of the first 9 games on the road. They do get the bye in week 5, which is nice. Some of their road games at the Redskins, at the Jaguars, not so bad, and the Titans too. Then they got a 3-game road trip at New England, at Buffalo, and at the Eagles. They do play 4 of their final 5 games at home. Home games for Miami, not easy either, against Dallas, the Ravens, the Colts, the Patriots. And keep in mind, the Dolphins, the last 4 years, 41-23-2 under the total. They got enough talent and balance to top 8 wins. Now, the New York Jets last year, well, this year they're projected at 6.5 wins, but what a train wreck last season. 4-12 straight up, 6-9-1 against the spread. That was the worst passing offense in the NFL with 184 yards per game, and that cost Rex Ryan his job. Coach Todd Bowles takes over. He was the defensive coordinator with Arizona. Very different from Rex, too. He's calm, calculating, and he inherits a terrific defense. But what about the offense? Well, that's the concern of new offensive coordinator Chan Gailey. He's going to inherit a unit that was 3rd in the NFL in rushing, 142.5 yards per game, but just 17.7 points per game. That ranked 28th. Quarterback Geno Smith is back. His rookie season 2 years ago, 12 touchdowns and 21 picks, and he improved last year to 13 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. That's why they bring in the veteran quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick alongside rookie quarterback Bryce Petty out of Baylor. Now, the wide receiver core has rookie Devin Smith. He is a speed burner, but looks like he's going to be used as a kick returner early on because they have some veterans in wide receiver Eric Decker and got 962 yards last year. Tight end Jay Samaro is fine, and they're going to be joined by wide receiver Brandon Marshall from the Bears. Now, the ground game also returns. Running back Chris Ivory, 821 yards last year, 4.1 yards per carry. Probably going to be a safe, short passing game, a conservative attack, but overall it does look better than it did a year ago. The defense over the Jets, boy, that's the strength of this team. 14th in the NFL against the pass. They were 5th against the run, and this front 7 is terrific. You get defensive end Sheldon Richardson. He had 8 sacks last year. They got 25-year-old defensive lineman Muhammad Wilkinson, 5.5 sacks. He's joined up front by rookie defensive end Leonard Williams. He was the number 6 overall pick out of USC. They also have 31-year-old linebacker David Harris. He had 6 sacks. The already strong secondary has Antonio Cromartie, joined by cornerback Darrelle Revis, returning to the place where he had his best success. Now, this looks like a top 5 defense. That's going to take the pressure off of this rebuilding offense. Now, despite a 500 season in 2013, 2 years ago, the Jets were actually outscored by 97 points, and they certainly came back to earth last year, getting outscored by 118 points. That was 4th worst in the AFC. The schedule for the Jets in 2015 will, after opening against the Cleveland Browns, Jets are going to play 4 of the next 6 games on the road, and those road games are difficult at Indianapolis, at Miami, at the Patriots, and even the Raiders. That is a 3,000-mile road trip. They do face the NFC East this year, so their road games are at the Giants, which is actually a home game for them. Probably won't make the playoffs, but over 6.5 wins is a possibility. But for sports bettors, keep in mind the Jets on a 13-9 run under the total with this great defense. Wouldn't be surprised to see that trend continuing. Finally, the Buffalo Bills, they were a big surprise last year with 9 wins. Vegas has them projected at 8.5 wins this season. And the New York Jets' loss is Buffalo's gain as Rex Ryan takes over as head coach, staying in the AFC East. Now, Doug Marrone felt he was a hot commodity on the coaching market, and he foolishly abandoned the Bills. And now he's the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very nice career decision there. Well, Ryan walks into really a great situation. Last year, Buffalo 9-7 straight up and against the spread, though his team is going to look very similar to his New York Jet team's great defense, but weak offense and no quarterback. Last year, the Bills ranked 18th in the NFL in passing, 226 yards per game, and they were 25th in the NFL in rushing with just 92.6 yards per game. Now, Rex has a lousy history with quarterbacks, so newcomer is 33-year-old veteran Matt Castle. He had 3 touchdowns and 4 picks last year with the Minnesota Vikings. Also have quarterback E.J. Manuel, 5 touchdowns and 3 picks last year in an injury-marred campaign. Neither really has great arm strength, so look for a lot of new running back LaShawn McCoy. The thing about McCoy, though, he's more of a finesse running back than the kind of physical power back that Rex Ryan loved when he was with the Jets. So all of that is a situation worth watching, the offensive backfield for Buffalo. The wide receiving core, it's young, and it does have a fast speed with Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, and Percy Harvin. The offensive line really wasn't that bad last year, allowing 39 sacks. They do bring in Richie Incognito, so this team is loaded with some potential problem children. But who cares about offense when you have a defense this talented? That's probably what Sexy Rexy is thinking about. 54 sacks the Buffalo defense had last year, 57 sacks 2 years ago, leading the NFL. And they're loaded this year. Defensive tackle Marcel Darius had 10 sacks. They have defensive end Mario Williams. He had 14.5 sacks. Those guys are a handful, along with linebacker Jerry Hughes, who had 9.5 sacks, whom the Colts would surely want back. Secondary for Buffalo looks solid with cornerback Stephen Gilmore and a couple of safeties in Aaron and Duke Williams. Plus they have Leotis McKelvin. He's available after off-season ankle surgery. Is it any wonder why this Buffalo team is on a 12-4 run under the total with this great defense? Now, the Bills' schedule for 2015, they're going to open with a pair of home games against the Colts and the Patriots. So Rex Ryan gets to face Bill Belichick early. I think Rex is going to unleash the blitz against young Jimmy Garoppolo. Might be my NFL total of the year. Bills 9-3 final in that one. All right, the Bills also have the bye in Week 8, which is a nice plus. But they do play 6 of 8 road games from October 25th to December 20th, a grueling stretch, and that's going to include road games at the Jets, Patriots, and Kansas City. That's actually 3 road games in a row. Overall, it's going to be difficult to reach 8.5 wins with so much suspect, but it's a better team to look at under the total. All right, make sure you check out JimFeist.com. It's got NFL and college football articles and videos available, plus new members. Sign up and get a $50 free credit.